Okay, this channeling is from 2008, May 13th to be exact. Question from the group. I feel as though I have a wall around me that keeps me from communicating with my higher self and my guidance system. If it was set there on purpose before incarnation, please discuss the spiritual principles for making this choice. If it was not set there on purpose, please discuss the spiritual principles involved in taking down this wall. Carla channeling. We are those known to you as the principle of Quo. Greetings in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator, in whose service we come to you this evening. We thank the one known as Y for asking us to join a circle of seeking, in which she may ask some questions, and we thank those who formed the circle this evening. One known as R, the one known as G, the instrument. For each of you to take time out of your busy day to seek the truth and form a sacred circle of working is most impressive to us. We realize how many, many things are upon your minds. We are honored and privileged to share our humble thoughts with the one known as Y. As always, however, we would ask both Y and all of those who may hear or read these words to use the utmost discrimination, taking what is good from the thoughts that we offer and leaving the rest behind. Follow the path of resonance, my friends, for truly you are the very best judge of that which is important to you and that which will be helpful in your work to accelerate the pace of your spiritual evolution. We thank you for this consideration, for it enables us to speak freely without being concerned that we may infringe upon your free will. My sister, you asked concerning a wall that seems to have blocked you from being aware of your guidance. And you ask whether it was set by you before incarnation, or whether it is something that has occurred during incarnation. We assure you, my sister, that there is no power on earth or in heaven, shall we say, that could keep you from your guidance. For your guidance is an aspect of yourself. However, there is a tendency in some seekers to create for the self a self-imposed wall. Due to the workings of personality and a somewhat low opinion of the self by the self, we might call this factor a low self-worth, or the unworthiness factor. The guidance that you seek so ardently is closer to you than your very breath. And yet, when there is within a seeker that which is prejudiced against the perfection and the beauty of the self, a glass wall can obstruct the free flow of information betwixt the higher self and the self within incarnation. Let us look at some aspects of this situation, for we feel that there is sure and certain hope that it may be ameliorated, and that you may find yourself being much more able to work with your guidance when some things are taken into consideration, of which we would now speak. The energy body, that time-space body that is pure energy and pure light, is the author of your physical body, holding the template of your physical body during incarnation. It also holds contact with your greater self. You have brought only a part of yourself into incarnation. It is as though a lifetime were a journey. When your guidance and you decided upon this incarnation and set your intention for it, you packed those things that you would need. You packed your relationships. You packed the gifts that you would need in order to perform the services you hope to offer. And you packed those limitations and challenges that you felt would help you to come into a more balanced configuration of vibration. Some entities seek to balance their open and loving hearts with more wisdom. Otherwise, souls came into incarnation hoping to break open their hearts and link that unconditional love vibration with wisdom in a more balanced and equal fashion. There are also some who seek the right use of power, balancing it either with love or with wisdom or with both. These are the usual areas of concern which concern the soul going into incarnation. When the desire is to open the heart on the more stable and continuous basis, that choice has been made by one who is wise, and this is the case with you, my sister. Therefore you offered to yourself the challenge that wisdom poses for the seeker. The wise seeker knows the self very well. He knows his shortcomings, and the more close to perfection his character may be, the more harsh those shortcomings may seem to him. In reality, each soul is perfect. We have said before through this instrument that there are no mistakes. There are only surprises. Consequently, know that your guidance is separated from you only by the illusions of thought forms you have had in place since childhood. They are locked within your energy body, and they constrict the amount of energy moving into your heart, and especially moving from the heart into the blue and indigo chakras. The way the energy body works, it requires a constant working through all of the chakras, starting with the very basic chakra, the red ray chakra, and moving up to the orange and yellow rays, and then to the green ray. It is a common desire of those who so eagerly seek the presence of the one infinite creator to spend as much time as possible within the higher chakras, experiencing the infinite love and light of the one creator. Yet always the entry into the higher chakras must be preceded by work in the lower chakras to clear the way. Perhaps you know the verse from the Holy Bible. Prepare a road in the desert that makes the crooked places straight. This is the journey through the lower chakras, and it needs to be taken not once, but every day. Sometimes more than once in a day, if there are triggers that you find occurring that pull you away from the open heart. Let us look a bit more closely at that open heart. As you move into the heart chakra, you move into what could be termed an outer courtyard. You stand before the open heart. And yet there is a gate that you must cross. It is guarded by the lions of discrimination. Those lions guard that gate until such a time as you have accepted yourself. This seems a simple thing, and yet for those who habitually are self-critical, it is not so simple at all. How can one forgive oneself for self-perceived faults and errors? My sister, the way to forgive the self is to realize that you gaze at the illusion of self, thrown out by your personality shell. You may take it on faith that within that personality shell lies a beautiful, worthy, wonderful, exquisite spirit, unique in all the creation, beloved of the Father beyond all telling. When you see bits of your personality that you would wish to be other than they are, you have allowed yourself to judge yourself. We would ask you then to find it within yourself, to refrain from judgment, and instead hold out your arms and embrace yourself with your own open heart. You have come into an illusion upon this planet, and your life must be lived within that illusion in order for you to choose, by faith alone, to seek the Creator. And it is in faith that you forgive yourself, accept yourself, and fall in love with yourself. When you see those faults occurring, do not think judgmental thoughts, but think affectionately. Ah, there is my personality again. And give yourself a hug. We do not suggest that you cease attempting to become a better person. We encourage that journey towards the light. However, upon that journey you walk with feet that move through transformation. And one of the transformation is to begin to see yourself as a magical, beautiful, and entirely worthy being. We ask you not to see that which is not there. We simply ask you to see that which is not on the surface. We ask you to move deeper and find that portion of yourself that we would call consciousness. You share this consciousness with every third density entity upon this planet. And indeed, in the deepest sense, you share this consciousness with all there is. For it is the consciousness of the Creator. It is the consciousness of unconditional love. Form a haven, then, when you feel yourself moving into self-judgment, of choosing to refrain from going further with that thought, and instead take up that thought of appreciation of the self just as you are. When you have gathered all of the bits and pieces of self that you might have shrugged aside because they were not your best parts, then and only then can you truly come into the tabernacle of the open heart. It is then that the lions will let you pass. When you move into the open heart, then remain in silence for a while. Allow the silence to fill you. For there is information being given to your subconscious mind with that speaking silence. Simply rest, letting the love you have for the Creator flow and radiate until you begin to feel that answering pressure of love from the Creator. That incredibly strong answering love. Rest there, be fed and be comforted. Now we would speak a bit about working with guidance. Working with your guidance is one of the ways in which you use the gateway to intelligent infinity. You open yourself to the metaphysical worlds by the process of tuning yourself up to your highest and best as you move out of the open heart and into the Blu-Ray Chakra, then into the Indigo Ray Chakra, and from thence into the Violet Ray Chakra, and through the gateway. Chakra. Your guidance is a source of inspiration and information, and it is most happy to communicate with you. Thusly, after you have spent time resting in the open heart, form your intention to seek your guidance system. You may even say so out loud, or if you are one of those who enjoy working on the computer, type your intention in a new document on your computer. Quote, "My intention is to seek the guidance that has been given me in the love and the light of the one infinite Creator." Unquote. Then we would suggest that you simply speak, or type or write with a pen and paper the question that you have to ask your guidance. As soon as you have finished writing or typing or asking that question, write or type or say the very next thing that comes into your mind. Not checking it, judging it, or evaluating it in any way, but simply letting flow what comes to you. When that flow has stopped, evaluate it and continue to ask the questions that you wish to ask your guidance, and continue, as you finish each question, to let that answer, whatever it may be, flow without judging it in any way. The greatest hindrance, besides low self-worth, to hearing your guidance is intellectual evaluation. I'll be damned. It is not a logical or rational activity to seek guidance, but it could be classed rather more as one would a musician as he sings or plays, a poet as he writes his poetry, or artist as he manifests on canvas what lies within the precincts of his imagination. It is pure intuition, insight, and impulse, which is the environment of your guidance's communication with you. Consequently, we suggest that you immediately write or type what comes to you as soon as you have finished your question, in order that there is no time or space for your intellect to interrupt this flow. It is a flow, my sister. It is an energy exchange of a kind. And as long as you continue this exercise, you and your guidance are in your own world, a world in which nothing can break in or destroy. For there is nothing of earth in this vibration between you and guidance. It may seem illogical, my sister, that you and your guidance planned for it to be somewhat difficult for you to contact guidance within incarnation, given that your guidance could help you open your heart and find ways to keep it open in a more reliable and steadfast manner. Yes, it is often the case when planning incarnational lessons that a soul chooses to challenge the self by making it more difficult to reach that which is desired. It increases the factor of suffering within the lifetime. Well, at the same time, giving to the seeker the maximum opportunity to exercise the faculty of faith. Finally, we would note that the habit of meditation on a daily basis creates a very strong background for the seeker who wishes to be more and more in touch with himself and all of his aspects, including his guidance, which is a part of himself. There are many ways to meditate, and we have no opinions as to the best way, for each entity is unique, and for each entity, the best way will be an intimate and deeply personal way. However you choose to enter the silence, setting your intention shall be your password to that tabernacle that lies within. Your environment may be inside or outside, in the cloister or the forest. We suggest that you seek the silence where you are most comfortable and where you are able to go on a daily basis. We would ask at this time if there was a follow-up to this query. Before we go ahead, we are those of quo. Why? That's the letter Y. I'm not asking why. Why? I feel that my heart chakra is open and balanced, at least to the minimum, and that my Blu-Ray chakra is in the process of opening. Please confirm. We are those of quo, and we are aware of your query, my sister. We can confirm that which is said, but would enter into some thoughts concerning this judgment. Firstly, as we have said before, the heart chakra does not open and then stay open. The energy body as a whole has a basic vibration, which does not change very much at all. But within that range of vibration, there is constant change, just as there is change in your oceans because of the pull of the moon. You have inner tides, my sister, both daily and at periods longer than a day. Some are cyclical on a regular basis, and some are unique to certain phases in your development as a spirit. When you go through dark nights of the soul, and the energies and the vibrations changes a bit as you move through challenging times. And again, we would suggest that one key to opening the higher chakras is to be sure that you are getting full power through to the heart from the infinite love and light of the Creator that moves through from the base chakra upwards and out of the top of your head. If you have issues with sex or love of life, if you find your relationships lacking, if you judge yourself or others, if you find your relationships with your family or your work troubled, all of these things can limit or even stop the flow of energy into the heart. Consequently, always move back with true humility and begin again. Each time that you sense that you are being triggered and that you are closing off, shutting down, and limiting the light that can flow into your open heart. The challenge of the Blu-Ray chakra is that it takes a well-developed ability to be completely forthright and honest at the level that is not often seen among your peoples in normal conversation. The process of falling in love with yourself is the key in opening the Blu-Ray chakra. It is a great challenge to find complete and utter compassion for yourself. It certainly is. It is indeed one of the great challenges which you offer to yourself as you came into the incarnation. The reason that it is the key is that when you have become able to see yourself with eyes of love and love yourself, warts and all, as this instrument would say, you then will find it's child's play to have compassion on others. for you are always harder on yourself than on others. That freedom that compassion gives to you is a palpable vibration that can be felt by other selves with whom you're interacting. When you know that you are perfectly worthy, it is far easier to move through a discussion with someone who may attempt to trigger your feelings of unworthiness, without being swayed from your compassion and your open heart. This compassion also enables you to listen with enhanced ears enhanced by love. It is not that you become able to rationalize and excuse other entities. Indeed, many is the time that Blu-Ray communication requires honesty, to the point where many would shrink away and not wish to share their shining truth for fear of being rebuffed, rejected, or judged. Yet many times it is just that point of view that you have to offer that is going to be a saving grace for someone else. Yet in Blu-Ray, with the heart open and fully powering your movement, it is easy to find a compassionate way to share that truth, so that there is no accusation or judgment, but only the sharing of opinion and emotion. We believe that you will find, my sister, that once you have opened green ray, it will springboard you to blue or indigo ray with equal ease. We wish you the very best of fortune in wending your way through the many mirrors that those about you offer to you. When you are seeking to open your ability to communicate, the one infinite creator may well see fit to offer you many distorted mirrors upon which to practice your newfound compassion. Gaze steadily into those mirrors. No matter how distorted they may look, they offer you information concerning parts of your shadow side. It would be helpful for you to store up such conversations with such distorted mirrors of the self and contemplate them at a later time, looking within the self to find the same distortions, no matter how deeply hidden they may be. They too are a part of you. They too deserve honor and respect, and the chance to become part of your daylight personality by being asked to help you. Even the darkest of emotions may become part of your very grit and determination. That energy was used for anger. That energy that was used for anger can become that energy that is unwilling to give up the dream, the hope, the prayer, the intention. Meet yourself in every conversation, not only as you speak, but as others speak to you, and contemplate at your leisure the many facets of yourself. May we answer any further, my sister, before we move on? We are those of Quill. Why? Please clarify as to whether my heart chakra is open or not. It's persistent. We are those of Quill. We are aware of your query, my sister. You ask concerning whether or not your heart chakra is open, and we would suggest that it is open at a variable degree, depending upon the moment. The original question, we believe, was offering the idea that you felt that your heart chakra was open at least to a minimal degree, and with that we certainly agree. However, it is that variability of the moment, that place where you are and the tides of your being and your progress that have caught you sometimes by surprise, so that you didn't even know that your heart had become less powered by unconditional love and was not getting as much energy as the maximum would be. And again, as we said, the key to this puzzle that you are working is low self-worth. You see, low self-worth occurs both in the orange ray and in the indigo ray, one being on a different level than the other, but both being the same basic structure in terms of vibration. At the orange ray level, the issue is the relationship of self with self. Why? Is that why I have lost my sexual desire? We are those of Quill, and we believe that we shall do better to take questions in their turn, my sister. Is that satisfactory to you? Why? Yes, I just thought that sexual desire is related to the orange ray chakra. We are those of Quill, and would agree that sexual desire is certainly related to all of the chakras. However, the issue of which we are speaking here is that of low self-worth. And we do not believe that that comes from anything but your opinion of yourself. We were saying that in the orange ray, at the level of the personality, the issue is simply the relationship of self to self, just as if you were either a friend of yourself or were not particularly fond of yourself. And the issue there is simply to become your own friend. In the indigo ray, the issue becomes steeper and deeper and involves the ability to see yourself at the soul level as an infinitely perfect and beautiful soul, trusting by faith alone that this is true, ignoring at last with great relief the judgment of the earthly personality. We would ask if there is another query at this time. We are those of Quo. Why? I have attributed the recent energy drainages within my chakra body as having to do with a psychic greeting. I was told I have 8 entities attached to me. Did I, or do I now? What kind of entities are they, and what do they want? Can I use the Enochian circle of light to get rid of them? Please comment on that in any way you think would be helpful without infringing on my free will. We are those of Quo, and we are aware of your query, my sister. Because the question of specific entities attaching themselves to you is part of your active personal seeking at this time, we would step back from the line of infringing upon your free will by saying that all seekers who wish to accelerate the rate of their mental and spiritual evolution will attract those entities who see your light and wish either to gain power over it or to put it out. Psychic greeting can be something that occurs even within your own personality, as voices from your past spring up from your mind, as thought forms, offering you hurtful messages. Whether the psychic resistance comes from within the self or outside of the personality shell, the response that removes psychic greeting is, firstly, to be fearless, and secondly, to send love and light to the greeter and to the entire transaction. A negative entity will be sickened by true love. The challenge here is that it needs to be genuine, heartfelt love, not that which is applied as a band-aid from the intellect. This love for the Creator must come from the heart. Further, we would agree that the Enochian circle of light is one way in which protective forces that are abounding in the unseen realms may be alerted to the need that you may have for strengthening your allegiance to the light and your firm stands within the light. This instrument, being a mystical Christian, leans more towards invoking Jesus the Christ and creating a ring of light in that way across which no mortal error dares to set its foot. However, the way you mentioned is equally efficacious in alerting a large number of those who come in the name of the love and the light of the one infinite Creator. For the Enochian tradition is millennia long, and there are many who dwell in the unseen realms who are allies of those who would use those words of beauty and light. We would suggest that it is inevitable that any seeker who is successful at moving closer to the light within himself will have cyclical periods of seeming psychic resistance. These can be uncomfortable. And yet it is well to look at these times as times to put into practice that which you know to be the truth, that all is one, and that one thing is love. This instrument has read a book called Psychic Self-Defense by the one known as Dion. In this book, this entity speaks of seeing a ravening wolf during a very difficult time in her life while she was in her bedroom. She was sitting upon her bed and meditating, and suddenly there was a wild wolf at the foot of her bed, crouching, getting ready to jump at her. She knew what she had to do, she said. She opened her arms and embraced the wolf, even as it bit and tore under her skin. And as she did so, the wolf melted away and was gone. Lose all fear. Offer the greetings of your best love, and you shall move through these times of resistance with your spirit unquenched, and with a constant growth of maturity as you find yourself able to weather the storms that you have asked to come upon you by your desire to seek the truth. As one continues to seek, one begins to transform. And in every transformation, various changes occur. Change is, by its very definition, uncomfortable. One gains comfort by routine. When things fall away from the seeking soul, it feels as though one even may be losing oneself. And so fear may enter in these times of transformation. Rest back into fearlessness and know that all is well, even when the resistance seems the thickest. Is there a follow-up to this query, my sister, before we move on? We are those of Quo. Why? I believe I had planned to stay through the difficult times of Earth's shift to fourth density before incarnation. It is my life's goal to ascend while on Earth. It is my desire to stay and serve as teacher, mentor, parent to many children who would lose their earthly parents during that change, and to share the best of me with them and teach them the law of one. I have been calling on the masters, the Christed ones, to establish a contact. I feel I could learn many metaphysical teachings from them, which will be helpful, and in some cases necessary for physical survival within the small communities which would be left after the shift. Do these masters hear me? Are they aware of me and my goal, intent, and desire? We are those of Quo, and we are aware of your query, my sister. Firstly, we would assure you that your voice has never gone unheard, and will never be unheard, for you are precious. And as you seek, so you shall find. As you love, so love is reflected in love. Those with whom you wish to connect are indeed connected with you, and joyfully so. Secondly, the scenario which is part of your intent is somewhat limiting, in that it has a certain view of how the shift shall occur. We might suggest that you release the limited view of what will happen in the future, while maintaining your desire to be of service, to ascend, and to have an ever closer connection with those beings whom you so value. May we answer you further, my sister, before we leave this instrument. We are those of Quo. Why? There is a young man who has run into me at the bookstore for the third time now. My first thought was that he is somehow connected with those masters, the Christed ones. He may be some sort of messenger. Can you confirm or tell me anything at all about this? We are those of Quo, and yes, my sister, we do confirm that. We are sorry that we must cut this session of working short, but this instrument's energy wanes. May we say again what a delight and a pleasure it has been to communicate with you. Thank you from the bottom of our collective hearts for the beautiful seeking that you share with us, and for asking us to share our humble thoughts with you. We leave this instrument and circle of seeking in the love and in the light of the one infinite Creator. We are known to you as the principle of Quo. Adonai, Adonai Basu.